Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Logistics, where we have conversations with thought leaders and newsmakers in the supply chain logistics industry. And it's my great pleasure to welcome to today's program Frederic Fimbel, who is the head of logistics customer collaboration and sustainability programs at CHEP EMEA. And today we're going to talk about making transportation collaboration work. And this is one of those topics that is always of huge interest to shippers, particularly today as they're trying to look for different ways to mitigate some of the capacity constraints, or they're looking for ways to be more green or more sustainable, and really, find new and improved ways to be more efficient and find productivity gains and cost savings as well. So, very excited to have Frederic here today with us to, share some of his perspective and success story that he's experienced there at CHEP. Just a reminder that part of our goal here at Talking Logistics is to make this conversational. So if you do have a question for Frederic as we're having our conversation here, you can do so via the post a question comment or the chat feature, and I'll keep an eye on it. And if it's a good and appropriate question and we have time, I'll certainly weave it into the conversation. Last thing, if you are joining us as a visitor, you will have to sign up first in order to be able to ask a question. So with that, Frederic, welcome to the program.
Hi, so good morning, everyone. So I know that in the UK it's the morning, and in Europe I'm calling you from France. It's at the end of the afternoon, but it's really a pleasure to share with you what we've done and our passion for collaboration.
Excellent. Well, Frederic, to get started, and kind of before we dive into the topic, tell us briefly about your career path. I mean, how and why did you get involved in supply chain logistics, and what's your current role and responsibility there at CHEP?
Okay, when I was young, I was really interested in optimization and as well I had a passion for organization. So once I finished my study with my diploma of organization for companies, I enter in transport company to work on transport organization because I was sure that we could optimize a lot what was engaged in terms of companies transportation role, and it is something I've done during 15 years. And the 10 following years, I enter in the 3PL companies, working as well on optimization. And I worked for CHEP for 10 years now on, and I've been a logistic director in France for about 8 years. And from 2012, I'm now the head of logistic collaboration across Europe. Really.
Great, great. I mean, I find it interesting that your title has collaboration, in it, which I think is a kind of a testament, if you will, in terms of the focus that you have on collaboration. So let's start with that. Let's start now by providing some context, if you will. I mean, I'm sure that many people are familiar with CHEP, but just in case, give us some, an overview of the company and your logistics operations there in Europe.
So CHEP is a company from Brumbers, and Brumbers is now in focus on pooling activity. So CHEP as a pallet puller role is to deliver pallet to the customers. When these pallets are loaded from their good manufacturer, they are delivered to the retailers. At this time, they send to CHEP declarations in order to stop the daily fee. It's interesting to have this information because we will reuse the declaration from customers to know their flows and to organize the collaboration. Once pallets are empty at retailers, we are collecting this pallet to be inspected or repaired at our plant. And once they are ready for use, we re-deliver this pallet to the customer. So it's with, with our pallet, most of the time the same one, which is avoiding to cut trees and so on and so on. One of the cooling aspects.
So what kind of what kind of volumes are we talking about there in the Europe? I mean, how many of these shipments do you make?
Yes, in fact, we are covering 22 countries across Europe. We have around 200 CHEP plants across Europe. We manage if I remember, sorry, 241 million pallets a year. That represents 4,600 trucks per day. We are managing all logistics operations from 11 offices across Europe. This allows us to deliver 17,000 customers. We collect more than 100,000 retailer locations. Our annual expense is $330 million for years, and globally we are managing 1.5 million shipments a year, more or less.
Great, great. So it's, certainly a very large network, a lot of volume, involved there. So let's talk now about, the collaboration and kind of the collaboration project that you've been involved with, over the past few years there at CHEP. Can you give us a kind of a brief overview about it and, how it works and the different parties involved?
Yeah, but first of all, I should start by the definition of collaboration, which can be difficult or simple. So let's go simply if possible. So I should say that the action of working with somebody or with someone to produce something, more or less. So working with anybody you can find, collaborate, it's it can be considered as collaboration because you are going to produce something. Globally, the goal is to reuse the empty miles the customer trucks could have coming back to their factory after a delivery. So the aim of collaboration is really to be informed of what are the empty miles the customers are doing and to try to reuse their trucks to either do a collection, a CHEP pallet collection or a CHEP delivery. Sometimes ask customers to pick up their pallets at our plant in order to avoid the CHEP to send a truck to deliver the pallet. Can work as well on international deliveries, long distance or multimodal as well. Multimodal is really interesting because most of the time when customers send pallet to a foreign country, the trains come back empty. And due to our network density, most of the time we can reuse these trains to deliver our pallet or to relocate our pallet from one country to another. That's why collaboration is really, really important. And for that, we have built a team I manage, who is working with different customers at domestic level, taking into account the country constraints, legislation, and so on. And they have to work closely because collaboration is something difficult to implement, but that can bring a lot of savings.
Now, I'm intrigued by this the team that you build, and I think we'll talk a little bit about that um, later. But what were the kind of the driving forces, to form this team and to collaborate in the first place? I mean, what led you to really pursue this?
If we have a look first at the transportation market evolution or what we expect as an evolution, we are quite sure that we are going to see the demand going up due to retailers constraint, well, legislation and so on, and quick delivery required from their customers, from customers of our manufacturers. And on the other way, the demand, so I mean the number of truck availability is going to be reduced due to legislation constraints, due to as well some transport company going to bankruptcy, due to legislation on driving hours and so on. So the gap is increasing year on year. And with the question we ask at CHEP is how can we close the gap in order to provide an additional service, same service or a better one to our customers to avoid gap between orders and delivery. It is something we are really, really involved in analysis. So this is the first thing. And as well, so working for a long time, very close to the customer, we know that customers are seeking continuous improvements because they have already negotiated better rates with customers, but as they want, as they need, retailers' requirement to do their task. So there are additional, and this improvement can come from their supply. And CHEP as a strong supplier, we have been successful in reducing supply chain costs, in doing transport collaboration. We are going to see some results from this year, and as well in moving empty lanes. We can allow customers to reduce their own costs as we are for sure sharing the savings with collaboration.
Now, so it sounds like, there was this, just like we are experiencing here in the United States, this, a growing gap between supply and demand with capacity. So it sounds like that's a similar situation there in Europe in terms of capacity becoming a bigger issue, and being constrained. And then it sounds like just the overall opportunities that companies are looking for from a cost and sustainability and productivity standpoint.
Globally the same. I should say the additional issue we have in Europe is that we are, as I said before, managing 22 countries. So we have 22 different legislation, sometimes different money, sorry, uh, different money. You have the euro and so on. And it's really difficult to manage because people is not working in the same way. So when we manage a collaboration at a European level, so I mean when we talk to customers with as a Coca-Cola, Procter and Gamble, and so on, we need to be aligned whatever the country we collaborate with. That's why the role of managing the relation in collaboration with the European key account is really key, because we can produce standard collaboration, whatever if it's in Italy, in Germany. So it's really key to have the same approach, whatever the country we work with.
Right, right. So, one of the challenges, that I often hear from companies, that are looking to collaborate is identifying the right partners, right? The right companies to collaborate with. What was your process in finding the right partners?
I should say, first of all, both companies need to be 100% engaged in collaboration. Collaboration is a long way, but if they are not totally engaged in collaboration, collaboration will never happen. We are going to see that we have a different step to succeed in collaboration. That if the top management is not engaged, it cannot happen. So how we have identified the collaboration to collaborate with. So we have to select the ones that are really believing in collaboration. And secondly, we have to identify what kind of flows can match with CHEP flows. Because we talk on collaboration, but once it is done, we need to prove that this is feasible. We have developed a tool at CHEP managing all customer declarations. So I mean, we know the flows of our customers, and we have developed a tool that can match these flows with CHEP ones. So this tool allows to identify matching lanes. Once this is done, we can identify savings, wing cost, and we have a different meeting with customer in saying, hey, customer, we have identified flows we can work in collaboration with you, and this can save a lot of X amount of money. We have X amount of flows per year with a percentage of distance loaded. So most of the time we have distance loaded above 95% matching lane. So I think very, very few empty kilometers. That means savings for sure. Like Europe, the vehicle fill more or less is 80, 85%. So once you are above 95, you are sure you can get savings. So this tool has been built few months ago, I should say, and we already get a lot of results. You can identify what you want. One customer with CHEP flows, all customers with CHEP flows, and as well, we can identify flows. It's something really important to gain time. Where, with which customer, we don't know. Now with this tool, we can identify this customer we can do that, with this one we can do that, and so on. So we try to gain time.
So this tool is this something that is this a transportation management system? Is this a tool you developed in house? Are you using a third party solution for this?
Now it's something we have developed internally. Lean Logistics is working as well to be linked with our TMS because we use Lean Logistics as a TMS for all CHEP, health CHEP company. So it's something that needs to be absolutely linked with our transportation system. You can see further with the trusty role how it can be used for that.
Great, great. So it sounds like what you've done is kind of taking a look at your the different the flow of the pallets and the flow of the products between the different entities, and really trying to identify where there's some good backhaul opportunities or continuous move opportunities, and then that becomes kind of the starting point for the conversation.
Yeah, but in fact, the tool allows us to identify the different matching lanes we can work with the customer. So we have standard organization which includes 5 different steps. The first one, as we have just said, is to identify the flow and to present to the customer our strategy in terms of collaboration. We have a team, we have an organization, we have tools, and we are really working on collaboration since 5 years. And the third step is what we call the negotiation. When we have identified the different lanes, we have to take into account some important thing as constraints for it. This customer use refrigerated trucks. It's very difficult for us to use it because we need trailers with a curtain side in order to load the maximum of pallets. So sometimes frigo trucks are not allowed. As well, delivery constraints. To make a round trip, we need to match all the constraints in order to see if it's feasible or not. We cannot deliver at night and load 12 hours after. We have a lot of constraints, and this take a lot of time. Once we have identified that, we make a tender with the customer in order to find the best rate with the different carriers. And once this is done, we can start a pilot. When pilot is done and we check the quality, we check the cost, if it's aligned with our expectation, and after that, we start the second one.
So
The 5 main steps of the collaboration.
yeah, no, those are, so it sounds like you've really, obviously with all the years of experience that you have doing this, have identified those five key steps. So, what's been the net result? What have been some of the benefits or some of the achievements that you've accomplished over the past few years?
Uh, we are we we have more or less six, I should say, six main topics because to get okay, I'm computer sorry. So we have six main topics, I should say. First is improved truck utilization, and for sure we have a cost reduction which is linked with the use of this better truck utilization. So customer satisfaction is one of the key things, important things. CO2 reductions, and as well ensure capacity during the peak period. And it's the case in summer in Europe when we have a lack of truck. When we've already built a round trip on a day-to-day basis, for sure you can cover the peak period without any issue. And this is very, very important to deliver on time and to give customers. And for sure, we extend the partnership with our customer because allowing them to reduce their cost, to increase their service level, and to get satisfied. For sure, we come from a supplier position, I should say, to a partner position, which is absolutely key for our business. So in terms of result, we've got last year. So we started collaboration with 76 different customers across Europe, representing 254 lanes, transportation lanes, and that is representing as well 53,000 different shipments. In terms of avoidance of empty distances, we have saved 2.8 million kilometers on 1 year across Europe. That's lead to CO2 emission 2.6, 2,600 tons of CO2 emission, which is great for sure. This is our global result. For sure, we've got as well in terms of savings, very interesting.
Those are all, pretty impressive, results, from a variety of different, angles. I think what's interesting is, the assurance of capacity during those, peak periods. I mean, I think that's where a lot of, certainly a lot of shippers are focused on, today.
Yeah, yeah. And reusing the same truck allows the retailer or the customer to have the use of the same driver and the same truck. They arrive always at the same times and so on. So we've got a strong regularity in transport organization. This is very, very well perceived by customers.
So what's next? I mean, are you looking to expand the program or, kind of take collaboration to a different level?
Yeah, so getting such results as we have just seen in collaboration, for sure, is very exciting. But if we only want to cross our flows with our customers, so I mean one customers with CHEP flows, is a little bit restrictive. So we've imagined how can we do better? What could we do in the next future? So we have identified that customer agree to collaborate together as CHEP is doing with our own customers, and we are entering in a trustee program. So trustee is a role of an independent company working to match flows between customers in order to get savings, to reduce CO2 emission, and to reduce empty miles. So the opportunity CHEP have, knowing all customer declaration, is very, very well perceived by our customer because we know all our customer flows. And using the new tool we've developed is very useful for us to say to a customer, hey customer, you can have a matching lens from this country to this one with this customer or with this other one. And you have a strong opportunity. And we have started to play this role. So it's now stage to identify with a FMCG manufacturer in Europe to work with all CHEP customers to identify new lanes, matching lanes, and working well because we have identified how we do.
I love the word, trustee, because I think they're, embedded in that word is trust. And, that is certainly such a key component to, making collaboration work, obviously. And, I'm a firm believer that kind of the role that you're playing is a representative of what is required, in my opinion, to make collaboration work, which is, a trusted neutral third party that kind of can, bring the parties together that, could benefit the most from working together. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yes, and you're totally right in saying that trust is one of the key words in collaboration. So I should say that two words are really important in collaboration. So trust and engagement, because each customer is quite sure that collaboration can bring in savings, but we need to work in trusty environment and 100% collaboration between companies.
We're kind of getting short on time here, but before I wrap up, I want to kind of go back to a comment you made earlier about putting together that kind of collaboration team, as kind of one of the key enablers really of getting this started. Just kind of curious, I mean, who's involved in that team? Is it people from CHEP? Does it involve the customers as well? Just trying to get a sense of, how that team comes together, who's represented, and what are the main role and responsibility of that team?
Well, I should say that first of all, both supply chain team are working very closely together because as we said before, collaboration is a long way and we need to be engaged. So to be engaged, we need to have team 100% engaged. So globally, if we talk about a European key account, for example, okay, but we need to into bracket to send them our collaboration program, what we have already experienced in terms of collaboration with other customers, and we ask the customer to dedicate a specific team in each country working with their counterparts at CHEP level in order to work closely and very quickly as well because it takes time to collaborate with. And once each team has been built, so we ask the customer to build European team by region or by country, it depends. I remind you that we are managing 22 countries, so it's not so easy. So we have at CHEP level, we have people dedicated in each country to work with the customer, with their counterpart at customer side. And my role is to manage all the team and to ensure that in each country we are doing the same way. We are 100% engaged. We have already a result. And if we have some blockers, whatever the side we out, so it's side, then my role is to ask the customer to be involved more, CHEP as well, to the country managers, to be focused on collaboration because at CHEP we are as well convinced that collaboration play a strong role as a partner. We want to be. We want to be.
Great.
We have
Well,
a lot of parties involved.
Great. I mean, I think I think obviously part of that engagement is ongoing communication, obviously to make sure that these programs are moving effectively forward, and of course when any kind of issues or problems come up to be able to overcome them quickly and efficiently. So, as a way to wrap up, I mean, what advice would you give to shippers that are interested in transportation collaboration? I mean, what's kind of the first steps they should take?
Yeah. So first of all, I should say, yeah, well, as we have already said, sorry, but once more, they need to be convinced that collaboration can bring them additional savings or additional service level, I should say, and as well that first they have to know their flows, but I'm quite sure that each company don't know their flows, and they know their empty lanes. They are convinced, most of the supply chain guys knows that they can improve their supply chain. And if yes, if they are, if they trust, if they are convinced, they can ask their either their supplier or or their 3PL. Why not? Because we always collaborate with 3PL at a European level because they manage flows, trucks, and so on, and sharing our flows most of the time brings savings and improvement in service level. So be convinced that this can be feasible. Savings we can demonstrate to anyone that we each time we get savings, and most of the time select the best company able to provide them these different opportunities.
Great, Frederic. As I always say on these programs, we always manage to scratch the surface, and on this topic, I'm sure we could continue talking for another hour or two on your various aspects of transportation collaboration. But this has been a great start to the conversation. So I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, especially on an afternoon, to share your thoughts and perspective on this topic.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to share our passion on collaboration. So it's really a pleasure.
Great, and thank you for those of you that joined us today. And if you are joining us on demand, watching this program on demand, and you do have a question for Frederic, you can find this episode on talkinglogistics.com and post a question or a comment there. And I'm sure Frederic will be happy to respond via that platform. So with that, thank you very much for joining us today on Talking Logistics, and look forward to seeing a future episode. Have a great day.
Yeah, okay. With pleasure. Okay, thanks a lot for your time.
Bye bye.